Okay.
Martina, is Dawn on? Can you see Dawn?
Yes. No,
yeah,
good.
she's here.
Great. Hi, Dawn.
How you doing?
Just checking you knew. Just checking you were here.
Okay, guys, let me just do the intro. So welcome to another installment of our consciousness exploration with the Earth Nouveau team. And we are continuing today with the next chakra, which is the solar plexus. Yeah. Okay. So anything goes around the solar plexus. And of course, because we're talking about personal power, so, you know, I call it the law of personal power and the law of, what else did I say? Personal power and all about empowerment, all about standing in our strength. So this is what we're going to talk about. And then anything else that comes up when you think yellow. Solar plexus. Now, where is the solar plexus? Sternum, just underneath the sternum where the breastbone is. Some people say it's a belly button, but I use that for the sacrum. So just go a little bit higher up, and we look at it from there. So the sound for the solar plexus is RAM, RAM. So why don't we do the usual with our chakra series here, and you just close your eyes for a moment and put your feet on the ground, and just a couple of minutes here. We're just going to tune into our chakras, into our yellow solar plexus chakras. So taking a big breath, long inhalation all the way from the coccyx up into the crown, and then exhaling deeply all the way down. Now just keep breathing in your own rhythm, in your own space there. Drop all the barriers here. Just expand yourself out a little bit before you step into that space of the solar plexus. Start focusing onto the solar plexus, just underneath that sternum, that breastbone. And then just imagine that you've got a chakra there. We're working with the idea of having the chakra inside for this purpose of that little exercise. And then look at the spin of the chakra, look at the speed of the spin, without judgment, without a point of view, just observe it. Say hello to your solar plexus. Expand that space out, that particular space out even more. And just observe what comes into your energy field. And then we can do the sound together if you like. RAM. So take a deep breath in. Exhale deeply. And then we go. Ra. Universal sound of the solar plexus. Cool. Just open your eyes. Then come back into the room. Be very present. And let's just kick it off with, you know, how's everybody feeling today? Supposedly we've got these energies coming in, some very strong 11 energies. So how do we perceive that? Has anyone got anything on that? Go.
Yeah, there's Jupiter is slowly coming conjunct with Pluto precise on Friday, which is our growth principle integrating with our destruction principle. So this whole week has been really intense. It's going to culminate fully Friday.
Yeah, did you feel it? Yeah. But Jupiter is all about transformation, isn't it? And I think Pluto is all about abundance. So we also have that. And I think if you add the numbers 11, 11, 20, 20, we have what, 26, right? And 2 and 6 is 8. So it's very much the abundance number, infinity, abundance, and everything. And I quite like looking at things like that, you know, to put a little bit of a positive spin on all of that without obviously neglecting the fact that personal power comes from within, and it comes through self-mastery, self-healing, and all of that. So it's quite nice to combine these things, you know. Has anyone else felt particular difficulties or abundance or positive, negative energies or anything?
I was just looking, Martina, at the sequence of the numbers. 11, 11. 11 is 1 and 1 is 2, plus 1 and 1 is 2, plus 2, 0, 2, 0. So you have a whole row of 2s.
Well, they call it, this is a triple 2 digits.
Mm.
And that has a significance in itself, because it doesn't really happen. The next time that happens is 11, 11, 21, 21.
Right.
And the last time it happened was 11, 11, 19, 19.
Okay.
Significance to that too, which I don't know what that is, but it is significant. Woohoo!
2 is the number of the feminine, you know, reclaiming the feminine.
Say again?
2 is the number of the divine feminine.
Cool.
In numerology. And if you double them, they're 4s, and 4s is the 4 square, and it's the grounded number. So it's an interesting combination of numbers.
And 11 is a portal, isn't it? Or 1, 1 together is a portal. And
is.
11 is elving. So it's Day of Elves for me.
11 is a master number because I was born on the 11th. That's why I know.
Yeah, it is a master number.
It's a master number, so it's a very high potency number. That's why I know. And you have citrine, you know, the crystal.
Citrine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's very, very abundant. Today, I feel it's a very a day of when you really want to unleash your power, when you really want to like feel really ground into your potency, really ground into the within that empowerment. Today is the day. Sometimes they say this, I have a crystal petrified wood. It's very good to put in your garden.
Okay.
Put it in your garden. Apparently, it's amazing for the land, amazing for the earth. A lot of earth energy coming up for me, and also it's good to put it under your bed. I put it under my bed. So
cool.
it's a lot of earth. The earth is, I think, it's started to talk now. Started to say it's enough already. It's enough. So I think things might explode soon. So I feel, but I could be wrong.
Well, you mentioned the citrine, and the citrine is actually mentioned here as a gem for the solar plexus, as well as the amber. So I've got an amber, a yellow milky amber. Topaz is another one.
Tiger's eye.
And tiger's eye. So those are all for the solar plexus. So if you want to strengthen, your solar plexus, your personal empowerment capacities and stuff like that, and you just start adding a bit of the color or the gemstones. Aromatherapeutically, we've got lavender, rosemary, and bergamot. Look, this is all just an interesting point of view, to be honest, but it's quite
magic.
It's quite funny sometimes too when you read stuff like that, and this is something I've put together, I think, I don't know, 10 years ago, and when I look at it now, I'm saying, oh yeah, that's interesting, but there was a time where I was like, yeah it's so funny how you move on in your involvement, and things become more significant than others. Have we got Dave on? Dave, our Dave. Is this you, Dave? Or is this a different Dave? We got a Dave. I was wondering if he wanted to say something on the stars. Dave?
There it is. There he is.
Dave, do you want to say something on the stars?
Just where we have Jupiter and Pluto conjunct coming up, and Mars stationing direct then on Friday. So, you know, it's been in Aries a long time, and stuff should move forward now. I think it still has to retrace the path it went through January, maybe, till it exits Aries and moves on to Taurus. So,
right.
What have you worked on since the spring when it first entered Aries?
Right. So that's a good thing to look back on, you know, like the first lockdown, pretty much. What have you guys worked on the first lockdown? And now maybe use it as a comparison where we're at now. And probably is this the harvesting, you know, from that period? Can we say that?
Yeah, what have we learned since that first lockdown that now we can employ and, you know, emanate that frequency of our growth and development, you know, out into our environment?
Fantastic. So that fits nicely into that, you know, that abundance and everything that we said early on.
I feel this resurgence for like a spring resurgence for the past few days.
Oh,
which
really?
is like bringing all this sprouting energy in, which is just nice.
Fantastic. Well, 111111 stands for me. When I did a little bit of numbers, that was all the one stands for new beginnings and creativity. So that would all fit nicely, you know.
Yeah.
Really nice.
So solar plexus, the law of responsibility. We all know what that means, right? Self-healing, that type of stuff. So maybe what we could do today is actually look at that, because we all know what we're supposed to be doing. So let's literally look at that. Can we still identify some traumas, dramas, triggers? That, because that's the first part going into empowerment, is always the identification. Where am I? Where am I at? What still triggers me? What puts me into sort of an emotional state? What makes me angry? What makes me feel fearful? You know, what anxiety? All of that is part of the solar plexus. So let's just do a little thing and look at that. You know, is there, you know, and look, we can do this because today we don't have a guest, so we can really go into some questions, whichever ones you are ready to throw up, and look at that together as a group. Is there any stuff that's been coming up for you that, you know, just like the callers would do when they phone in, you know? That
You can say an example, Martina, if you like.
Yeah, okay.
I'm always happy to be vulnerable. I don't care, whatever. But it was going to help people. You know, I did a huge class last weekend, and it's about 100% responsibility. I mean, there's no question about that.
You want to tell the or everyone here what type of class it was, just the name of it, so people know?
Oh, okay. I use Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian problem-solving method or clearing tool for over 10 years now, or 12 years now, about like that. And I actually took a step, preparing for this mentally for 6 months now. Took the advanced basic 2 on Saturday and Sunday. I haven't slept much. I was sleeping on Monday, but this class has taken me to beyond. I mean, you can't even, you know, you don't ask questions there. You just do the clearing. There is, you know, that's 100% responsibility. And we have very advanced tools that we didn't even talk about because it's so. It's up to you if you use them, but you have to be very careful with them. And today, what happened is somebody shared something with me that they are going somewhere, and in what's now 2020, in 2000. I was there, I think, in 2001 or two. I can't remember now, 2001 or two. So many years ago, and I realized, wow, what happened there actually? You know, that those memories were coming up for me, and I'm like, oh my God. It's like I had such a good time there, but it ended in such a sad way. And all these things were coming up for me. And I'm thinking, and I said to this person, I said, oh, thank you so much for this opportunity to clear. Because it's my, you know, I'm happy for this person that goes there and have fun, and it's going to be amazing. But what I'm saying is, it was for me an opportunity to release that because it's in me. So I did, you know, I did sit down as I learned, and that's it. And that's 100% responsibility, because we don't know. I mean, I just say, okay, this is the memory, but we don't know what's behind that. You know what I mean? Behind it. We will never know what's going on. Never know. But we just do the clearing. So that's
So Andrea, you know, for people who haven't done Ho'oponopono, is there one very simple tool that you could suggest, introduce to the group that they could do? Because all is the 5, forgive me, and that.
They use the I love you, thank you, please follow me. Obviously we can't share tools because then it goes back to us. But what I could share is Dr. Hewlin, I did the class with him first time. He always says, love everything. Your love moves the world, meaning if you're angry, your love kills the anger. If you're sad, if you have anything, is I love you, but you don't, it's like I don't clear you guys. So let's say if Martina says to me, Andrea, I'm sad, I don't clear her because she's aloha to me. She's divinely perfect. I clear my attachment to that issue because now it became my existence. So she's perfect. The problem is in me, if you will. I just clear my detachment to that. So when I clear the clients, that's what I do. And they're like, oh my God, miracle. Because I just release me in me, what's going on in me.
So that clearing would be, you say,
I love you.
I love you. Just that.
But I love you.
The other tools of Ho'opono, like a thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, right?
Yes, they do say that. It's like, so what you do is you talk to your subconscious, if you will, okay? So the subconscious is a supercomputer, holds on to all the data, everything, trillions, 15 billion, zillion data, which you know this already from Andrew's show. That's why Andrew and Ho'oponopono is quite near to each other. We can't mix the two, obviously, but very similar concepts. So what you do is the subconscious is holding on to. So you make a plea with the conscious. The mother says, I love you. And the unipili is the subconscious. And you start a plea or start a petition to say, I love you. To say, if you have an anger, I love you.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. So you talk to the subconscious, if you will, back to that anger. And if you love everything, even if everything, that love kills it. Because like you wrote it in your Facebook, I am the I. Obviously in Ho'oponopono, we have a poem called I am the I, which I will tell you next week, because that's how I'm going to start and close with a piece of I. So I am the I is about you, just you, I. You're not attached to anything, or we really are not. Even if we have family, we're not attached. And the idea is when we detach, it comes off of me, it comes off of the crystal, it comes off Martina, my laptop, and everybody in Africa at that moment in time. That's one thing. So everything comes off. Huh? I can't hear you, MG.
Have you lost us?
I can hear you, Mary.
Okay, can you not hear Martina?
I can't hear Martina. What's happening?
Martina, is your sound gone?
And I think.
The mic is going. Keep talking.
So anyways, what happens is when you detach from an issue, when you clear it, it clears off every single person in the earth. So let's say somebody is having a bad birth in Africa, yeah, that comes off that person. That's how powerful it is. That's how powerful this is. And when we take 100% responsibility, all of us, because it's our doctor here used to say, who is going to be the one to start? Who is going to be the one? He says, oh, he always says that. Who is going to be the one to start? And he always tells us, I don't care what happens, but I do the clearing. He doesn't care. And the most important thing is people always go to the classes and try to figure it out. And it's not. We only clear so we are free, not for any other reason, just so we're free. And what happens is when you clear, you get the divine inspiration, right? And you act upon it. So most of the time, I have no idea what I'm doing. Absolutely no idea. It's like on June the 20th, which was summer solstice, I inquired about this class because I didn't know if it's, and there's something happened beyond who I. So this whole process got me together with something, and it's exactly in the same city, the same county, the same, you know, like you would never think, you would like I'm at all what a universe that the divinity gives me.
It's great, isn't it, Andrea? Just like, or on, that's how you say it. Yeah, just the working on yourself just creates that frequency and it radiates out. Just kind of like love is contagious. Because as soon as we radiate the frequency, it exists and other people can enjoy it.
The thing is, when you're free, everything else becomes free. So a lot of people misinterpret or think, oh, there is love is shit, or love is there is no love, whatever. They don't get what it is. Love, aloha in Hawaii means seeing with the eyes of God, which means I see you as perfect. Mm-hmm. There's no, like if you come, like the doctor used to tell us, oh, somebody went to him and he says, oh, I'm going to kill you. He said, please do. He's hilarious. But, you know, he's like, and now I know what he said to me. Not now, like I'm thinking, oh, wow, now I get it. You know, it's like everything is just this class was beyond I could ever imagine. Mm. It was very, very
simple.
Very, very, like, you know, 8 hours. Obviously, it was a late time for me, but it was, I'm not the same person. Not at all. I'm not the same person. So, Martina, I'm going to practice on Martina. And I got my flute.
Are you going to play for us, Andrea?
I got to go thank my mom and just thank her for teaching me to say, I love you, thank you, you're welcome.
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, it's just, you know, like Martina said, it's 100% responsibility means 100% responsibility. You take care of self first. So when we do the clearing, always the self first, always the self first, and then the other person.
I think the beauty of all that is when we do anything like that, anything that's a repetitious prayer, we're putting out a vibration into the quantum field, which is why, you know, you say somebody in Africa could be affected. Everybody could be, because we're all connected by the...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We are responsible for that. Yeah, we are responsible for the woman having a bad birth in Africa, but nobody takes responsibility. Who's going to take responsibility? I am. That's what Dr. Hill said to us. We think that we are not responsible. We are. All this thing going on is in us. Like Laura said, everything is in us. So when we take responsibility and do the clearing, do the things, but who will take responsibility? You know?
That comes down to personal choice, doesn't it?
Yes,
at
absolutely.
The end of the day. And
just like Andrew says, who is going to take responsibility? Right? He says that all the time. Will you be responsible? Will you be responsible? And this Ho'oponopono makes you 1000% responsible. That's the beauty of it. You're on your own. You know what I mean? It's like Andrew said, and this is like you know, like the basic one, we had like a shortened, not shortened, but like there was an easier way. But this one, you really have to sit and read every single thing every single day. So it's not you know, you really have to be it.
And you can
How
do
do you
that
start?
with other words. Go on, Dave.
Yeah, how do you start your day each day? What thoughts do you put out there? You know, you know, in synchronicity with this conversation, I saw a video this week from some guy talking about, you know, thinking, you know, it was a guru type, and he did this story of there was a traveler out going and happened to stumble into paradise. And, you know, he walked around and, you know, he said, well, I'm tired. You know, it's kind of been a long journey. And all of a sudden there was a nice patch of grass under a tree. And he went and laid down and, you know, took a couple hour nap. You know, it'd been a long journey. And, you know, he woke up and then, you know, it's like, I'm hungry. You know, I wish, you know, I could really use something to eat. And all the favorite foods and that came to him. And it was just like, wow, this is really good. And he, you know, he finished eating and said, well, I'm kind of thirsty, and all his favorite drinks were there available for him. And, you know, then he was like, uh-oh, there must be ghosts around here. Then all of a sudden there were ghosts around him. He goes, no, they're gonna torture me and kill me. And he passed on from that existence. So it was like, you know, how do you create your reality? You know, do you want a peaceful, loving, joyous day? Do you want everything around you to emanate that? So if you put those thoughts out there, you know, as you start each day, like the spiritual hygiene that Andrew talks about, you know, and then you're tying into those vibrations of the Ho'oponopono, and, you know, you're making a conscious choice as to what your reality is.
Absolutely. I mean, 100% responsibility is not for the faint-hearted. I can tell you that. I can tell you that because it's just. I mean, what happened? I mean, what happened to me for this year? It's nobody will believe this. I'm writing it down. Don't worry. But all the things that happened, I only realized it maybe a month ago, and I'm like, wow, unbelievable. And every day since. The cake I created behind me, yeah, I didn't create it. It created itself. It was last Monday, and it's just the way it created. It's just I'm writing about it, but it's incredible. So everything just comes because I just take responsibility. I just go and do it and do it and do it.
And it comes back to belief as well.
I don't even think about that. I just do the clearing. I just take 100%. I don't even, you know, I just do whatever I have to do every single day, and now even more. And you know, just go. You know, I do my things. I do my celebrations. I do my gratitude. And I just received an email while we were talking from one of the instructors, and he said to me, Andrea, I'm at awe what you have. Like I never expected that. It's always no expectations. Anything you do, no expectations. Because if you have expectations, you're done.
I mean, it's very difficult for some people who don't work at your level, Andrea, to know where to start in all this. Because when we're talking about this, it sounds so easy, or we just do it. But there's some people who are in situations where they feel depressed or stuff like that, and we say to them, okay, do a daily ceremony or do prayer. You know, you are responsible for your own life force. You're responsible for your own you know, biomagnetic field, for your energy field, for putting it out there. And people just don't get it. So Dave, how you've been doing these practices a long time. How do you not start your day, but how would you advise somebody to start doing a practice if they're feeling a bit down and they can't sort of reach that energy at all?
You know, going out for a walk, getting fresh air, and getting away from technology, and just trying to fill yourself again. And and then start realizing what you need to do that's best for you. You know, if you know what that is, would you do it? And then it's just motivation. You have to make the choice in that moment to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I practice Qigong, and it's like, okay, I like getting up and doing that, you know, or in the evening before I go to bed, because it gets me, you know, I separate from the technology, and I'm just, you know, in the energetic field, you know, doing the practices.
So that's the creativity, isn't it? And that's your passion. Because I usually say to people to find something that they really enjoy doing, that is their passion. If they can find that and create some joy from that, because it's very difficult to do any sort of daily practice, whether it's the what Andrea was talking about, or any form of words, when you come from a you know, a very low place, isn't it? So as you say, the first thing is to do something that just gives you a little bit of feel-good feeling.
Mm.
And
Or you
connecting
can say I love you to the feeling. That's easy. So
I was going to say there that when you're coming from a place like that, you know, where there's depressed energy, usually what goes hand in hand with that is a kind of an inability to move. There's always no movement in depression. So as Dave was saying, I think something that's really simple, just like going out for a walk, no matter how short it is, it will always shift the energy, because going out into nature, or just even if it's walking down the street, it actually does shift the energy. And you know, for starting, if you're trying to start daily practices, I would start with something really simple. Like if you're going for a walk and you're feeling depressed, you could actually just be mindful of what's each side of you as you're walking, nature and what it's giving you. And you know, something that isn't too taxing, because with the energy low, you're not able for too much, but actually you can build it up that way, because you'll begin to feel better when you come back and recognize it, and you'll want more of that good feeling. So you might, you know, be able to do more the next day. So it's really kind of not, I suppose, for me, I've worked with a good few people with depression, and it's never about what they're able to do. It's just about the small step they could take when they were really low. Yeah.
yes, definitely small steps. I always tell people, if in doubt, go out and hug a tree. And I said, I had someone recently, and I said, look, they went well. I said, look, the tree, just feel the tree. The tree is not going to judge you. The tree is not going to say nothing to you. Even if you kick a tree or do anything, obviously don't do it, but there is not going to be judgment. Just hug the tree and be the tree and feel the love from it. And that what happens is nature transfers that love to your heart, directly to your heart. No matter if you so depressed, it just comes to you because it's natural way the earth gives to us.
Absolutely. And it's the action that makes that possible. So just some sort of action, is because inaction is actually what happens. And when people go into that place, they just go down into the dark hole further and further, because that's what that energy does. It just drains the life force almost out of people. And whatever movement they can achieve, you know, it's good. There's always something that's good to get it shifted.
And
Find.
Sorry.
Go on, Laura.
I was just going to ask Martina if she heard anything, or were you totally gone before?
She's hearing. We
can't hear you.
Part and then it cuts.
Can't. Yeah.
Are you close to the mic? No, nothing.
No. It's yeah. She's gone. You were going to say something, Dave.
You can. That's fine. She can hear. That's okay.
I was going to say, but you know, Laura said earlier about finding a passion. That's how you keep that energy in your life every day. Like for me,
exactly.
You know, tennis has come back into my life during lockdown. So you know, I'm playing 3 times a week, and we play in a night. You know, it's in a floodplain, so there's trees around, and you know, lots of wildlife and nature, and you know, you're just out playing. You know, it's like being a kid again, and it's so nice. Energizing. It gives, you know.
Yeah.
I find it's a big thing about just like you guys said, relieving the stagnicity and just getting the emotions flowing again. and see what's limiting our point of views. Like what's stopping us from enjoying everything, like everything. Like right now, I'm really trying to just embrace like the human aspects of just being alive and just enjoying the simple stuff, be it nonsense or stupid or just whatever. Just like literally drinking a Coca-Cola. Like it's like my spirit has been at war with the Coca-Cola for like the longest time, and I just let it all go a little bit recently and just enjoyed a nice Coke. And I was like, wow, this is great. Like there was so much I was just like holding on against a freaking can of Coke. Like, oh my gosh, just so much limitations that we can place on ourselves over tiny little things that can add up to a whole lot. When we can just let go and enjoy it and go with the flow.
Yeah, I mean, I started to do personal training 3 times a week. Of course, it was, hard at first. Now I'm on my 4th week. I can't remember now. I keep going, but it's like I asked some of my clients, so what are you holding into your body? What are you holding into your muscle or your solar plexus, if you're talking about that? That we can hold on so much in our muscles, in our fat cells, in our accumulated toxins that we say, oh, I don't want to move, I don't want to do this, we resist it. Because when you start moving, actually physically, not yoga, but properly, your life starts to shoot forward. That, you will tell the muscles, okay, now we are moving. Like a train, you're going forward.
It was like letting go of the resistance. Just there's so much resistance that we have built up and pent up on so many different subject matters, and if we can just let them go and then stop letting it drain our energy for whatever reason we gave it our power for, then it feels great.
Yes.
I think it's a letting go and an embracing. I think going back to the solar plexus, it's a lot of personal power. It's a lot about just standing in who you are. And I feel like culturally, societally, we're trained that we're not okay, like that we're wrong, who we are isn't okay. So we're always striving to be something different than we are. And even Shawn, you said the Coke, that's a perfect example. Like we're just automatically assume what we want, what we need, who we are is wrong. And so once we can just like go to that 0 point and be who we are, and that's enough, that's great, to stand in our power. I think that can really disrupt a lot of depression and really just enliven us. So I think it is a letting go of the bullshit society standards. It's just ingrained. You don't even really know that you hold those views until you start with a Coke, being like, well, why do I even why is this such a big deal? And then really step in and embrace the rightness of who you are. And that's personal power, and that's solar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it because it was such a simple thing. And just how did it become such a big enemy? And then just once I let down the resistance and enjoyed it, it's like, holy crap, all these nice memories from childhood started flowing in, and just these loving moments. It's like, oh, I could taste them again. Huh. And just like that, something so simple.
Right, to get away from the right and the wrongness of it all and just sit with the it is, and that's okay.
Yeah, and what happens is the way I work is when people say, oh, I'm stuck, like my client said yesterday, she messaged me and she said to me, Andrea, I'm stuck with this such an issue. So what my job is to do the clearing, because she's perfect. So I did the clearing in me. I didn't clear her. I did whatever I did, and then she was fine. And that's what I do. I do the clearing in me. I don't clear her, or I don't clear anybody. I just say, okay. And I did the tool. There's a tool. I did the tool. That's it. That's it. And then she's fine.
No?
Yes.
Hey,
No, can't hear you.
She's back.
No, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Where's Milo? Where's Milos?
I'm great.
He's such a snob now.
Milos, the superstar. We don't want you, Martina. Come on. Where is your cat?
It's got into his head now. He's going to Hollywood. No. He's okay. He's snoring away somewhere. I was just going to ask the question in terms of the Ho'oponopono. Yeah, you saying clearing in yourself, which is very much empowering for yourself. But how does that actually work with the empowerment of the client?
It's because if you present the problem to me, so there is a questionnaire, they fill out the questionnaire. That's the inventory questionnaire I use. So, or whatever is at their issue, they send it to me. It doesn't have to be that. And I just look at it and do the clearing the way we have the tools. But what happens is when I detach from it and when I'm clear, the other person will not get the answer from me, but they will get inspiration from divinity. So let's say this lady, so that's why it's very, so this lady, she, somebody wrote about her ex-boyfriend or whatever. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter what it is. And I just went through the form, I applied the tool, and she said to me, "What did you do, Andrea? I was sleeping and I was dreamt about this person, and it's cleared." And what happened is that allowed her to start to write, to start to be creative, because we never know. That's why everything is so important on that form, because we never know what will lead to what. Or my other client on Saturday, when I applied the tool during the class, we had a break, and then she messaged me, and it was something huge. And then the next day was everything exploded, and now she's going more. It's like when you do the clearing in you, the other person gets inspiration from divinities. Like I asked something from Dr. Hewlett. I went to the club. I sat down in my seat. And by the time I sat down, I was running back to him. Thank you, because he did the clearing. He didn't give me an answer. He just did the clearing in him. So remember in the book Zero Limits, they talk about when he went to this hospital and cleared out the psychic ward criminally insane. He didn't clear anybody. He didn't heal anybody there. He did the clearing and the tools in him. So when I'm free, you are free. Your laptop is free. Milosh is free. Shawn is free. The Coke is free. At that moment.
It's just from an empowerment perspective, it's an interesting way of looking at it.
100%. You are 100% responsible. If somebody, he used to say, if something happens in the world, if we are responsible, but who is going to start the clearing? Who will be starting the clearing? Who is responsible?
It sounds a bit like holding space, doesn't it? Holding the space and making the space clear and pure, and then something can happen for other people. It reminds me a little bit of the old idea of asking somebody to pray for something for you.
No.
Not like that.
You don't know. You take 100%, that is 100%. So you have your subconscious.
No, we understand, and I'm glad you've elaborated on it, because it's an interesting, Yes. And
it's
definitely amazing for using it for your self empowerment. When you can actually say, whenever something triggers me, I start clearing within me. Is definitely a great tool to look.
It's been innate though. It's been presented in the world. This.
No.
Never
Absolutely.
goes out in fashion. It's Mona Simon Aqua did this. This is the updated version. And if you know how to do this, you are free.
I'm just in terms of, I would think that some people could just say, okay, well, I'll pay Andrea and she can clear it for me, and that's it. Gets me out of the.
You can. Feel free to send me inventories. I have lots of them. I have my tools.
I know. But we're talking about, solar plexus and empowerment for, individual taking responsibility. And, of course, we've all heard it, taking the responsibility at the level of our awareness,
Do you remember
hold on, Andrea. Let's just carry on a little bit from there, so that we're having a couple of perspectives. So what does it actually mean to take responsibility at the level of your awareness?
It means effort. You have to make an effort. Remember, Andrew said some people,
Yeah.
You can't make an effort to email him. Remember, he said that when he was in the ceremonies. And if you want to work with me, you have to fill out the form. And my client said to me yesterday, Andrea, I'm resisting it. It's an effort to go through it. I said, no, I'm not going to do it for you. You have to do it for me.
Yeah.
It's an effort.
I appreciate that.
And that's in your solar plexus. That's you empower yourself, because remember, Martina, you said when you start something, you already choose, you dare.
Yes.
And that's your yellow chakra.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So it's definitely another level of taking responsibility, right? So thanks for that. So let's look at some other places and spaces where we have to take responsibility at the level of our awareness. So looking at the toxicity we surround ourselves, looking at relationships, looking at all of that.
Yes.
What do you guys do? How do you guys do in terms of, fear of rejection, fear of criticism? These are all very much those old, let's say old, emotions that are associated to the solar plexus.
Yeah. Solar plexus used to be, when I was doing my training for reflexology, it was described as the feeling brain. So when they elaborated a bit on that, they were saying that when we feel hurt or rejected or whatever we feel, that we actually feel it there first. And sometimes we can actually experience it as a punch into the stomach, if it's something that we find really offensive. Yeah. So it was just an interesting concept, as to the color is yellow, as we know, and if we get fed up or if we're in grief, it turns gray. It's the first chakra that actually turns gray.
Oh,
when
really?
we get, because it's the feeling one. Right. Of all the chakras, that one really feels very much what happens. So we feel it in the stomach. So, and you hear people saying things like, I couldn't stomach that, and that kind of thing.
It's also the fetal position, isn't it? When something's like, oh, you go into that fetal position, where your tummy.
And you pull the knees up, which is actually, Martina, kind of a protection of it. The fetal position, if you look at it, the knees are really pulled up, so they're protecting the solar plexus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we can Bartsify this whole thing a little bit, and obviously look at the complexity of the gut, the brain, right? The brain and the heart.
Yes.
This is when the brain and the heart and the gut work in unison and in harmony. This is when we pretty much step into full empowerment, full self-healed sovereignty, full possibilities of fortifying our reality. So it's those three organs that have to work together. And I think it's in the heart meditation you're all familiar with. I think you just posted it the other day, where he says we're turning off the medulla oblongata in the back of the brainstem here, and allow that superhighway from the brain into the heart, and actually all the way down into the gut. And this is basically, and this is also the root, obviously, of the vagus nerve. This is where we have the connection, the vagus nerve and the gut, brain, and the heart complexity. And this is when all of that is working together. This is when we can then start also working with our celestial mediumship. So the part of that complexity and of us stepping into our empowered capacities is that we then can start working outside of this time-space equation and not getting ourselves into a space of negativity or picking up, entities or energies that are not conducive to our well-being. So what we
That's
got
kind of
we
the
were
mantle
talking
of
the other
responsibility that, you know, you're talking about. You know, you become that hub of interconnectivity. And is it your solar plexus that gives you the will to do it, to unite, you know, those other chakras?
Well, it is also, yes, and DMT he always talks about is created in the intestines, isn't it? You know, when you're in the flow, when you're in your joy and everything. And of course, the biggest thing, you know, with the solar plexus is our dreaming body, because our dreaming bodies are in the gut. So when we talk empowerment, you know, we can look at that. One of the reasons when we feel slightly disempowered, it might actually reflect in our dream space. And of course, the shadow side of it, when we're having really cool, you know, dreams, progressive dreams, advanced dreams, whatever that means to you, is when the gut's healthy. And we're not talking about colonics, obviously, but we could, because that's part of that, isn't it? Figuring out, you know, so diet comes in, all of that, to having a happy and a healthy solar plexus.
How are you interacting with the hologram through that? And, you know, we talk quantum, you know, entanglement and everything. So, you know, the will to make the body the receptor antenna, you know, of your hologram.
Absolutely. And it's almost color. You're bringing the sun into the body, right? It's like light. So, you know, the more light we obviously bring into the body, the more we are connected. And the more it is important that we have that responsibility at the level of our awareness, because, you know, there's no point to go out there and thinking we have all this connection, go astral travel, and then we're picking up all sorts of crap, because just because we astral travel doesn't have to get out of our bodies necessarily. We can take our bodies with us nowadays, isn't it?
That's where the trees, you know, they stand tall and they gather all the light. They, you know, all the time. And that's come up in my meditations with the trees lately, is, you know, that whole connectedness that they share, you know, as gatherers of light in this reality. You know, what does that mean?
Yes.
Well, this is
Well,
the
they
thing.
probably anchored the light down, I wonder.
Say again?
Yeah, go on. No, that's all I had to say. Martina. I was just saying they probably anchored the light, because trees, you know, they communicate with each other, and they probably anchor down the light.
And then connect with the rocks and minerals in the ground with the roots. So they're transferring the light, gathering it, bringing it through, sharing it.
Exactly.
We're conduits as well, aren't we, for the light? We equally can stand on the earth.
We are.
And bring the light down to the earth. And I always like one of Andrew's tips, going back to what you were saying about the sun, Martina, was when you get a very negative thought, or something comes into your reality that's quite mucky or dark, shine the galactic sun on it. So I say that to Ollie, my grandson, now, if he's talking about monsters, I say, well, put a big sunshine in front of it, and that's all you'll see. Because that's such a lovely visualization for anybody. Anything sort of you don't want coming into your reality, just picture a great big picture of the galactic sun on it. All that light. Really works.
Or even better, you know, when you wake up in the morning, or whenever you go into the room and it's dark, you switch on the light, right? So when you wake up, you have an internal light switch. Switch on the light, so you have it all day. And that's it. It's very easy. It's a very easy tool to use. Switch on the light, and there you go.
Well, visualization is a practice thing, isn't it? And
yeah, but you can do this. You can feel this. You can different. You know, you don't have to see this. You can feel this. You can see this. You can hear this. It's different ways. Whatever people connect to it. So it's very easy to do. It's just who is going to be responsible to do it every day.
I think we've got that message.
I'll tell you what, Andrea, I'm just going to send you, I fill in the form and you do it for me, okay?
I told you to do it, but you haven't done it yet. Who's gonna be responsible for that, Martina? Come on.
I'm kind of weird. I quite like doing it myself, actually.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself. That's the idea. It's not
Right.
like, that's the idea. You have to fill it. I send you the form.
No forms. I hate filling in forms.
I actually did it for me today, which was like quite a exercise in itself. And it was like, wow, that's amazing. And I just saw how much I developed this year. And I'm thinking, wow, that was like really something, you know?
I hope that's not treading on her journey, Andrea.
Journey? What do you mean?
If you cleared Martina for her.
No, that's not how it works. Like I said, I don't clear anybody. I'm clearing me.
I'm boxing myself in. No. Thank you.
No. It's like if somebody sends me an inventory form, obviously they agree that I do the work. That's it. Obviously.
No. We understand the concept. So
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we're just taking the piss.
What organs, Martina, does the solar plexus?
Yes, I'm just looking at the energy connection, the physical. I mean, we already talked
the physical organs. What are the physical organs?
Can I chime on that for a second?
Yeah, do.
Please, yes, please.
Because like we're talking about the vagus nerve, and this is something I've already learned so far in Chinese medicine, which is really, really cool when I found this out. So the vagus nerve connects to every single one of our major organs and the connectivity in our solar plexus. But within Chinese theory, each organ houses specific emotions that we hold. But the organs themselves cannot feel the emotions. They have to flow to the heart, where the heart interprets it for them. So each different organs that we have hold certain emotions. And like, so when we get sick and stuff, it's because certain emotions affect certain organs, but they can't translate it without the help of the heart. And it's just neat with all that stuff coming in the dreaming body and the solar plexus, and how much
fantastic.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
And that takes us back to the complexity, right? The gut, brain, and heart, because the heart can't always express it, needs the brain to express it through the verbal communication or writing it down. And this is why that whole axis, that whole complexity is so important. So I've got here the autonomic nervous system, which is probably what they mean at the time is the vagus nerve, which covers pretty much the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Abdomen, of course, stomach, pancreas, adrenals, upper intestines. So somebody said transverse colon, which would be the one up here. But I would say, we can also use the ascending and the descending colon. So gallbladder, liver, the middle spine, of course, the spleen. So we're talking pretty much from a dysfunctional perspective, chronic mid-back pain, along the line. And of course, we need to look at the organism from a holistic perspective. So
kidneys come into that too? Kidneys?
Yeah, they are mentioning the kidneys here because they are quite, close to the mid-back there. We've got arthritis, gastric or duodenal ulcers, of course, all of that. Colon, any intestinal problems, pancreatitis, diabetes, indigestion. It's also linked to anorexia and bulimia, which is not surprisingly because it all goes with the empowerment perspective that we've already discussed. Liver dysfunction, hepatitis, adrenal dysfunctions by the kidneys there, and then food allergies, So all of that really, so Shawn is saying it touches every organ that houses emotions, which are translated and felt by the heart, the vagus nerve. Kidneys house our original essence that we receive from our parents when we're born into the CM, whatever that means.
Chinese medicine.
Chinese medicine.
Okay.
Okay, I've got the theme and the lessons here. So the mediator, external, the solar plexus is the here. The solar plexus is the mediator between the external and internalization of consciousness, how we relate to people and how we understand ourselves. It's shaping one's being, wisdom growing out of experiences. So it's, you know, the center of our experiences, and you know, because of course it's the digestive system, so it's how do we digest those experiences. Very coolio. What else have I got? You got any questions on this, or anything that comes up for you guys on this one?
So for me, when I think about solar, we were talking about when the dysfunction being hunched over, but when somebody's in their power, you know, they are in their power.
Yes.
But to me, it brings up empowerment and power. And I think when you've experienced power, the dark side of power or abusive power, it's really hard. It takes a long time to play with that concept of power, to be able to integrate it and internalize it in a way that doesn't feel icky and yucky. So I don't know, when I think of solar, I just think of the right use of power. To be able to stand with somebody in their power is humbling and magical and beautiful. And I feel kind of rare, you know, when somebody has that, like just that alchemy, magical power thing. But anyway, that to me, I just love the subtle body and the energetics behind it. And it's something I've played with for years. It's just the relationship of power and how that translates.
Yeah. And you've mentioned something really important here. I think, you know, the posture, we can actually, and I use yoga actually to work the other way around, to use the yoga poses from that perspective, the movement, in order to actually start triggering stuff, you know. So as you come like this, if you think about it, when you like sort of hunched over, you're hiding your heart, you're not connecting with your eyes. So as you drop the shoulders down, the heart comes out, you're starting to connect with people. So that's part of that empowerment journey, you know, to actually allowing yourself to look in somebody else's eyes and to be seen and to be heard and everything. So that's all part of that. So a lot of that solar plexus, it could be just looked at from that. How can we change our posture in order, even in the beginning, when you say you don't feel particularly empowered, well, change your posture first and then see what happens. Because immediately, and I think Mary, you mentioned that before, it's the movement. Because think about it, where does depression come from? It's an overload of us thinking thoughts that are not conducive to our well-being. Now, those thoughts are all electromagnetic energy that are stored in our bodies. So as we start moving and changing our posture and in our bodies, we're starting to release that electromagnetic, that chemical energy of those thoughts. And that's why going for a walk is powerful, you know, just that. It doesn't have to be 150 push-ups. I mean, if you can do it, but you know, you want to release the crap. You actually, I think sometimes with all these really athletic people, when they do it from a place of resistance because they want to look particularly good in order to pretend to be powerful and potent and seem confident, they're actually putting more of that toxicity inside their muscles. So often when you work on a bodybuilder or something, they are just like, there's no ways, there's nothing moving in there, there's no flow of energy in there, it's all stuck. Even though it's nice to work on a bodybuilder from time to time, I should have more of those, but you know.
Can I ask a question, Marty, or to everybody? You know, like when you get butterflies, so that's in your solar plexus, is that because you're having thoughts that your body doesn't agree with? Because your body does react to your thoughts, doesn't it?
Personally, a butterfly in my stomach is a sign of excitement, a sign of resonance, a vocational ecstasy, if you wish, you know? So it's a good thing. For me, it's a good thing. It's a resonance. It's almost like the body, the gut talking, hey, this is exciting.
Yeah, and I suppose, as we were saying, it's the solar plexus is a place where many nerves meet. So if you are in a heightened state, that's where it's gonna manifest on the body, isn't it?
Yes, and it's the feeling brain. So it's going to respond to your thoughts. It's going to respond through the thoughts with feeling, and you're going to feel it in the solar plexus. But for me, it's neither good nor bad, because I get butterflies when I'm terrified, just the same way as I do when I'm really excited. So it's the same response. It's just the thought is different.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a brain in the heart, we have a brain in the brain, and we have a brain in the gut. And apparently, all the nerves, we have the nerve connections in the gut are exactly the same as they are, I think, in the heart. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shawn. Have you learned something in?
Sorry, I was still laughing about the bodybuilder thing and got distracted.
About what? The bodybuilder.
The same way it's connected to the head brain.
Yeah.
In Chinese medicine or martial arts, they call it the gut brain, or like lower dantian.
The lower dantian.
Yeah.
The center of our power. So the hormone,
like breathing into our lower dantian, that's our kidney essence. And they say that we only have so much of this original essence that we get from our parents, but the breathing constantly nourishes it. That type of essence, there's lots of different kinds, but that specific kind that you only get like X amount from your parents, and you can top it up but not exceed it, because it's not yours, it's lent, kind of.
Yeah. And you see, there's the thing again that we can't really take it apart completely, because, that could apply to the solar plexus, it could also apply to the sacrum. We're working continuously connecting all the chakras. It's just fun to pick out a couple of things that give us a topic for something in particular.
So what's a good way of empowering and putting more color, if you want, into the solar plexus? I don't think I've ever done, I guess a visualization would be, wouldn't it? I don't think I've done any exercises really like that. Has anybody got any ideas on
breathing in the color, Laura? I think breathing in the color yellow. Because they all have their own color.
Colors, food. If you eat yellow foods, it's just, for me, it's just to have your attention and intention. Whenever you come something, and also if you're triggered by the color yellow, there was a time I could not have worn this. For years, I would have never worn yellow. Till I forced myself in one of the networking sessions, I remember, I thought, fuck it, man, I must be able to do this. I just wore it. I felt so uncomfortable. It was amazing the feedback I was actually getting, because it was, it was interesting, very much out of my comfort zone. But these are the little triggers, that can actually catalyze us into a growth spurt, by actually listening to them, and instead of getting rid of them, saying, okay, cool, so what is my body trying to tell me here through this emotional trigger, and how can I play with it? It's not how do I have to change it in order to be better because I'm bad, I'm worse. No, how can I play with that? And then
showing us something there. Can you see it, Martina? There's something.
Exercises for the solar plexus.
Yeah, this is from Barbara Brennan's Hands of Light book. That's I guess a solar plexus opening exercise. Not the one I was looking for, but it.
Right.
That's what we do in yoga.
In yoga, yeah.
Right.
It looks like it's extremely engaging the lower core, which is just pumping up the solar plexus.
So the one that I was looking for, either it's somewhere else in the book or it's in her other book, where you're supposed to stand, and then you literally jump up but you only lift up your like that.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Like a bunch of times.
Uh-huh.
So
Show us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
that was more exercise than I've done since lockdown.
Well, I suppose any type of abdominal exercise, and remind yourself, the abdomen is not just in the front. We've got it in the back and on the sides too. So working, this is where the twisting, you showed us a twisting exercise, and that's the twisting exercise that really works the back and the front here. Yeah.
Also, Caroline said something there, Martina.
Caroline is saying, visualizing a yellow tree, branches high, roots deep into the earth, imagining a yellow light that goes back and forth within the chakra, clearing it out, mudras, mantras, yes.
Lovely.
Lots and lots and lots of stuff. And of course, all the self-healing work, all the letting go.
Yeah.
All the letting go is part of that.
Yeah.
So I have harmonious functioning of the chakra, what they're saying. Self-esteem, it's connected to self-esteem, self-respect, self-discipline, ambition, ability to generate action, ability to handle a crisis, courage to take risks, generosity, ethics, strength of character. Disharmonious ones, intimidation, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-respect, emotions of like, I'm out of control, I can't control things, I'm being controlled, responsibility for making and taking decisions. So all the self-worth stuff. Yeah. Personal power, energy connection in the mental emotional. Personal power, core of personality and ego. Illnesses originated here are activated by issues related to self-responsibility, self-esteem, fear, rejection, sensitivity, criticism. Oh, that's interesting. Fear related to physical appearance, yes. Obesity, boldness. Sorry, Shawn, you're right there. What's going on? Fears that others discover your secrets.
Oh.
Who's got a fear that others discover? Oh, that's what we're going to do. Tell us one secret that nobody else, that you've never told anyone. Who's brave? Come on, this is solar plexus. Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And don't worry, only a few million people will see this on YouTube.
I wish a few million. I wish we would have the viewing that Milo has. 100 and I think 40,000 by now.
Has he? Oh wow.
We usually get up to like 160.
Caroline said something, guys. Caroline.
Piano, naked at night. Woohoo! Thanks for sharing that. Very cool. We're all visualizing that now. We're going into our solar plexus. Who else is brave? Let me think of one.
I prefer to pee outside than indoors.
Go, Laura!
That's very empowered. I can't think of anything.
I know, I can't either.
Book. I share everything.
I feel like this is there somewhere in there. There's something way more juicy, but I catch myself talking to myself constantly, including in front of people.
That's nothing, Shawn. That's chicken shit. I do that all the time. Come on, give us something juicier.
I know. I'm blanking.
Self-talk. A healthy self-talk. open my giant portfolio of quirks. Saying that. Okay, well, I can tell you, it's not a secret, but I can tell you something that you probably don't know, that I have 2 implants. The 2 front teeth are implants. And it's very scary when they come off because I've got titanium sticks in there because I had a jet ski accident a few years ago. So
People always look different when their falsies fall out.
very scary. So that's something I could think of.
People aren't wanting to divulge their secrets, Martin.
I know, it's very cagey here. This is.
I think
Come on.
Amy's got one.
I think Amy has.
Well, I want to, but I don't know. I mean, you know, it's the pee in the shower. Okay. I do that.
Given.
Yeah, we all do that.
We do.
Yeah. It's not good for you, I heard from my
Remember,
Amy-
Martina,
It's
we
not
are
good to
too
do that.
weird. We do weird things anyway. So.
I know.
Amy,
My aunt used to say it'd make warts go away on your feet.
Amy, we all pee in your shower.
Oh. Same time.
Well, it's the holographic universe.
It is.
Exactly. Exactly.
And wow.
Urine
hard.
therapy, absolutely, yeah.
Nicola,
Yeah. Shawn Hessman, we are one. Yeah.
I let stink bugs hibernate in my place inside over the winter.
Oh, that's lovely.
They cut. I have plants that are indoor outdoor that once it gets really cold they come in, and I didn't know it at first, but they were in there. And then when I put the plants out in the spring, they fly away and they're gone spring and summer, and they come back in the fall. I don't know if they're the same ones or they're passing the address around, but I have them every winter.
Fantastic.
Okay, I got it. The most embarrassing thing I can think of. I've picked my nose and ate it in the last year.
Oh,
No, we do this all the time. No. That's like, I'll do that.
That's probably the darkest secret out there.
So let me tell you
No,
something.
that's not gonna make too many views. We have to come up with something. I'm trying to think.
How does this work with veganism, Andrea?
What?
Eating your own bogies.
I have no idea. I haven't researched that.
Can you give us a recipe for that?
Okay,
Come on, it's raw vegan, right? It's no meat in it. Come on.
But it's coming from a meat being.
oh my.
So
Well,
is
like,
it
I'm eating
vegan?
my lunch and Andrew is talking about I'm purging myself.
We're talking. Hey, you're the love yourself queen. You can't have a problem with eating your own bogies. Come on.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to think of something, but
go
I'm
on.
I have a good one. I have
Yeah.
a good one.
Got one.
Sex video.
What, you've watched
But-
one or made one?
No, I made one.
You made
But
one.
this was years ago. Wait, this was years ago when it had the VHS film recorder, like those big
Amy.
things.
Good
But
on you.
We erased it because it didn't look as nice as you watch the ones on. It didn't look. It wasn't pretty enough.
Oh, wouldn't
Good on you.
Now I'm getting hot.
I know I got hot
Sure.
too.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Who's not gone yet?
I haven't, and I'm trying to think of one. And the only thing I can think of, I'm sure there's lots, but the only thing I can think of is I lick all the utensils after I've baked.
I do that
You
too.
know,
And the bowl.
And
the
the
cake
bowl, everything. I mean, I can share some of yours, but that's no good. I'm trying to be original. I can't come up with anything.
Do we all feel more self-empowered now, or less? Yeah. Before you bake as well, Shawn said.
Oh, you guys.
No, it wouldn't taste nice then, Shawn.
Oh, it's COVID season, guys.
Well, that was fun, Martina. Oh, we've lost Martina. Okay.
Again, oh dear.
She's gone again. That was a really fun way. What time are we?
It's
Oof,
half
it was
six.
good while it lasted.
Okay, 6:30. Okay, nobody got any other great secrets they'd like to add?
I'm going to be the one to say it. Martina, I'm ordering you to get a new microphone.
Yes. She's talking, but we can't hear her.
I told her it was worn out with all the high frequency.
All your friends are going to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So let's all lip read Martina and then
Yes.
say what we think she's saying.
Yeah,
Right.
give one of your. Yes.
Can she
us one
hear
of your-
us?
I heard ha, 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 ha.
Yeah. Go on.
He wants wine.
I love you. I love you. Oh.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Are we going to call it a night, or do you
Yeah.
any carry on?
No,
Yeah.
I think we'll call it.
Okay.
Yes.
Lovely. If
Happy
any, just
birthday.
Martina, I might just say, well, I'm going to say to them, if anybody's got any sort of topics or anything they'd like us to cover and anything that they particularly want to come on and maybe chat to us about, then do. If anybody's got a speciality that they'd really like to share with us, we're all happy to listen and join in, or if there's anything you'd like us to host and cover that we haven't covered. I mean, we've got various guests and various topics coming up in the future. We'll do something for winter solstice with somebody. I'm hoping to get Maria Wheatley, who's a dowser, on to talk about the long-skulled people of Stonehenge that she's found out about. And we've got, I'm not sure what Martina can't tell us. There's other things in the pipeline. But yeah, Shawn,
I'm on next week, guys.
there you go. Andrea's on next week. And yeah, Shawn, great if you want to share some Chinese medicine with us, share your learning.
Yeah.
I'd like to do another one on quantum cranial sacral therapy that I'm learning. So yeah, we've got lots that we can share. I don't know how many of these sessions we've done now, how many Zooms we've done. Must be about 10, 20, 30, 31.
31.
31. Oh, wow.
I'm hungry next week, guys.
Okay, looking forward to that, Andrea.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
I also have, I mean, I know I understand that the food revo, which is, I'm sure is nice, but I've written a food revo.
Donna.
That's a food revo. That's a food revo, what I've written.
really, well, we really look forward to giving you even more of a platform, Andrea, next week. So
I have
that'll
to
be great.
deliver my food to Martina first.
Okay.
A couple
Thank you.
things. A couple things while people are racking their brain to think of topics that they might want to have on later shows. First off, the timing of this show was perfect. Like really lined up personally for me. So maybe for other people. So thank you. And the other thing is Martina typed in today's secrets become tomorrow's lies. It's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes, how true. So it just remains for me and Mary to say, Shawn, did you have something to add?
Yeah, what about like a book show where we talk about books?
Books we've read. Yeah.
Yeah, just cool things that tie into
fabulous
what have impacted us and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Mm.
Hello.
Should we all read the same book?
No, like not telling anybody.
Necessarily.
It's to introduce your books that you read to the group and have a sharing of, you know, what's gotten us here.
Yeah. And then I'd like a show with an hour of Shawn jumping.
It'll have to be a montage.
So thank you all on behalf of us at Earth Nouveau. We really appreciate having you on, and it's been fun. And someone's just put something in the chat. Mary, did you see it? I didn't see it.
No, well, it just said there, Alan said a show with Martina talking about technical gremlins. And Lana
How
said
to
they
live with
were,
them.
Lana said, Laura, they were all awesome shows. Thank you for a lovely show today, and I enjoyed a great laugh. How about if we talk about our galactic history sometime? That's
Well, our collective galactic history or our personal galactic
well, she just said our galactic history.
Yeah,
so
whatever.
I suppose, yeah.
Yes,
Okay, we probably do all have a little bit of information on our galactic history, so we could maybe talk about where we, planet we came
that
from.
would be
yeah,
that would be fun. Yeah. Or we could sort of guess how we see each other's residual images.
Yeah, that could be tricky.
The game we played with Martina that last summer, Mary.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. When we were in the garden, Martina. Remember? Yeah. Anyway, okay, we've got all of that to come. So thanks ever so much, guys. Lovely seeing you all.
Thank you.
2021 after that.
That was so much fun.
Love
Thanks,
you all.
everyone.
Bye,
See you
guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.